she isn't, no.
No, no.
Okay. I'll take her seat.
What's up?
Okay. Hello, Counselor. Good, how you doing?
Huh? Okay, got it.
Okay. You got everybody here? I think we do, Corey, of course.
Patrol. 44. I have contact with the person that did the land trust, so I don't know where they are.
Okay, folks, we're going to begin our meeting. Study session, I have items 8A and 8B, and they're both ready. I imagine we'll have some Commissioner deeds that I'll introduce on behalf of President Hudson. Councilor Caldwell's agenda items are, Mr. Councilor Manto, you're taking them?
Good afternoon, everybody. Councilor Caldwell has items 10 through 13. Hi, Cy.
Good afternoon, Council. Saisha Bird, Commissioner of Parks. So our first one is a contract, excuse me, no, it's not. It's an agreement with Laura Reeder, who's been doing the public art community programming with the kids through Parks and Recreation. It's for between April 1st and May. It will conclude with the exhibit of the students' artwork. Not to exceed $1,500. Good.
Moving on.
Jason.
Hi, everybody. How you doing? It's me again.
Yeah.
So, yes, I have items 11 and 12. The first one is enter an agreement with Hale Transportation for 3 coach passenger buses for a trip to Dorney Park. Is there any questions or anything about this? Anything? Okay. 12, is the issue payment for the water park for the purchase of 210 youth and 1 hour cater lunch for 224 people. That includes facilitators, park staff on June 30th of this year, not to exceed $12,000. With the new addition to Southwest Community Center, that was the increase in the budget this year.
How many kids attend?
153.
We got 215 kids going total.
Just one.
Sure,
one
go ahead.
question. We was, there were some concerns about 11 and 12, the number of chaperones. That there, it varies. Is that correct, the numbers there?
So within number 11, when there was 15 chaperones, on the park staff, this is what we're going to essentially take care of on their behalf. But we have staff that are coming from Southwest Community Center. They have a different distinction when it comes to age groups, so we can't officially put them with us on that due to liability reasons.
All right, long as we're good. Long as it's right, yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything else? No? That's it?
Lastly, we have a authorized payment to the Veterinary Medical Center of CNY for emergency veterinary services. The services were provided between February 24 and May 24. It's coming to you all because it is. We received the bill after the budget was closed, after we closed out the books. It is in total not to exceed $2,148.41.
Are these for the dogs that are impounded?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's for their veteran services that they go into Barks and Recs and then they come. Some of them come over to Second Chance.
Okay. Do
The
we ever
shelter.
find the owners of the dogs? Have we?
I can send you those numbers. Once in a while, we get lucky and find the owners. Not
I
often.
would like to see if the owners would reimburse us for the vet bills.
Okay. Any questions?
Thanks, Commissioner.
Thank
I'm
you.
all set. Councilor Hogan.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Manto. Councilor Majok.
Thank you, Pro Tem. I have item 14.
Good afternoon, Lateef Kinsey with the Mayor's Office of Reducing Gun Violence. So we wanted to just extend the contract with On Point because it was delayed in starting. So it started in February. They just started doing counseling in February. So we would like to try to expand it to September.
It's the same numbers,
Same,
right?
everything's the same. Nothing's different. It's just expanding it. It's changing the date because, of course, the amount of time it took to get everything signed and get things rolling. So
Are we seeing 50 people already?
same, yeah. They already started. Dr. Nita is here. If you have any questions for her, the therapist, they started already to see people. It's the same therapist, just a different organization, which is On Point.
Questions?
Doctor, so you're seeing 50 people? Are you and your therapist seeing at least 50 of the, no?
No.
No, we're not seeing 50 now. We've got about 13, between 13 and 20 right now.
And we're going to work our way up to 50?
We're working our way up to 50, yes.
Thank you.
So the full amount of the money, if they're not seeing the 50 people yet, is how do you draw per person the amount that each person cost? How does it work?
I'll give a breakdown. Yolanda. Yeah, Yolanda's here. Yolanda from On Point is here, so she can give you a breakdown.
Good afternoon. Then I'm on. Okay, so how it's working?
It's working.
So I still got to talk in it? Okay. So how it's, Yolanda Seegers, I'm the director of Project Rise over at On Point. And so how we're utilizing the funds, one, we had to develop a process alongside the therapist so we can know the barriers first of what implementing to begin with. And then I meet with the therapist on a weekly basis to, in turn, create strategies of support. Looking at the barriers of engagement, we've seen that outreach was very important for the therapist to do because some of the credible messengers did not have the skill set to champion therapy. So then now we had to create a rubric on what that would look like. And so by us meeting weekly, we are able to then now say, okay, out of the 13 that were being supported, how will we go about increasing that enrollment? And so we looked at different portals that support those individuals from probation, parole, as well as different organizations who currently provide support. And then now creating relationships bi-weekly at Lateef's meetings, we're able to now, we created a referral sheet as well as created a progress monitoring sheet for the for the therapist so we can see the notes that they're doing. But we also created a tool where then now, if they're not being engaged, how we are able to then talk about that at our weekly meetings so we can strategize to increase. And so, for example, the way that looked is that one of the individuals that we received information from, he currently isn't staying at the location that was reported. So then now we find that individual, connect back with them, and then also we have connected with the Justice Department because some of those youth are now incarcerated. And so now Dr. Anita is able to do assessments right down at the Justice Center. So those are just examples of ways that we had to utilize the funds and progress monitor their time, and we pay them monthly based on their work. And their work, far as hourly pay, is divided between the therapeutic practice. In order to deliver the therapeutic practice is $180 an hour. But in order for them to meet, do their research, for us to find our database and those kind of things, we're not paying them that rate. So that rate is only, then now will come, that therapeutic rate is when we're now meeting with people. And we have started the assessment process and as well as establish a group process as well as an individual process. And so On Point will voucher monthly based on the work that's being done. And those hours, currently, they will work between 10 to 20 hours a week, depending on what work is needed to be done as far as the, creating the process, creating those relationships, and holding people accountable who were previously being paid by Safer Streets, because we have the expectation to receive that information as far as addresses, phone numbers, the best way to communicate, what has worked for them previously, what hasn't worked for them previously. And then now we're able to strategize on our way moving forward. And that's how we are able to get to 13 names that we have communicated with, and 2 currently that we're still in the process of trying to really find and establish relationships with, as well as champion, those various relationships.
Yolanda, was any of the therapists, were any of them cut during this process of transition? Or do we still have the same numbers?
We have the same number of therapists. Okay. Our only hope was to find a bilingual therapist, but due to the rate that was currently they charged for therapy, realistically, to see 50 people, we have just the right amount of money in order to do that.
Okay.
Yolanda, did any of the candidates and participants that were with Project Rise transfer over?
Oh, absolutely not, because the only thing is Project Rise refers to 13 to 17, but what that looked like is we did have one individual who turned 18, who I was aware of that needed therapeutic support. And so then now that's when I go to the biweekly meetings with names of youth that I know who are transitioning out of Project Rise and who have some of those various behaviors that we've been looking for based on the data. And then I'm discussing with them at those meetings and encouraging, one, if the youth is still working with several organizations, I'm creating those meetings so then now we can support with that transition and also transition to other resources, because sometimes for those youth, therapy is not the number one priority. And so one of our youth was dealing with homelessness and need to restore family relationships. So we concentrated on both at the same time, and then once we were able to establish that, then that's when I went over to Morgue and just asked them to do that.
What about administrative fees? Does it come from the same part of money?
It does come from the same part of money. On Point does get 10%. When you were looking at the budget, I did not put myself in on that contract in order for us to be able to basically pay the therapists what they deserve.
It seems like we have a lot of questions and that we have a very limited time with
Okay.
this. So what I'll do is arrange a committee meeting,
Okay.
and we can comfortably have a discussion.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
To Councilor Majok. Councilor Paniagua.
Good afternoon, everybody. I have item number 15. This is something we've done before for a few years, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
For the last 2 years, we've had a registered apprenticeship program. MACNY was our representative for the registered apprenticeships. At the time, the apprenticeships were in a different department. Right now, my department has someone who's in the middle of their apprenticeship, so this allows us to continue the registered apprenticeship. It also allows us to get grant dollars and reimbursements from SUNY and MACNY for hiring apprentices or for any continuing education that they do. There currently is a reimbursement on the table, but we wouldn't be able to receive it until we re-enter the agreement.
So is there any specific technical skills that is going to be, or is it just, is these like an umbrella?
So it's an umbrella. New York State has several trades that they allow to have registered apprenticeships for. For the last 2 years, I know the city has had software developer apprenticeships. My apprentice is in the program for marketing coordinator, which now is a technical field with all of the software that we have to keep up with and the data analytics that we do. So they're the ones training that person. They're the ones training them on drones. They're going to SUNY classes. They're doing data analysis. So MACNY is the one that's ensuring that that person has the resources that they need to continue upskilling. But there's an umbrella of jobs that can be a registered apprenticeship. It's just this is the one that works for our office.
So this is that's a apprenticeship for marketing?
Marketing coordinating, yes. So if you look at the BOCES level, even if you look at the school district level, a marketing coordinator is someone that's on the back end of social media platforms or on the back end of websites. They're focusing on if we have to run a targeted ad on things. So they're focusing on the back end of marketing that's really more so a technical thing.
And this would suffice a traditional degree required to run some of this
Correct.
stuff?
Correct. Yes, this person, when they're done with their apprenticeships, they receive a journey person card, and that they can take that card and work that title for anywhere in New York State or anywhere in the country.
So how many staff can we send for $10,000? Is it just the one or?
This is not to exceed $10,000. I don't know the exact amount we pay per apprentice. Right now, I'm the only one that I know of that has an apprentice. I don't know the max of the amount of employees that we can hire for MACNY to represent us. I can find out and get back to you.
Okay, thank you. I would like to know that.
Okay, okay, Counselor?
Yes, thank
Counselor
you.
Gathers.
Thank you, President Pro Temp, of items 16 through 31. And Commissioner Brandt coming up.
Good afternoon, councilors.
Good afternoon,
Robert Brandt, Commissioner Water. We're looking to enter a contract with GHG Consulting Services to assist with the planning and engineering services for our lead copper service line replacement program, not to exceed $949,700. They're going to help manage our plan to kick off our lead replacement.
So, Commissioner, $1 million for a plan seems like a lot of money.
Well, they're gonna manage it. They're gonna put out the contracts. They're going to plan the future of our lead replacement. They're going to have. So we're looking to put out numerous contracts to have multiple companies come into the city and do this. They're going to have representatives out in the field making sure that they're properly installed. They're going to handle the whole operation of our lead service line replacement for the city of Syracuse.
For the entire city? I thought it was for the ones that was already.
Well, they're going to. That's where we're going to kick off and get them out for bid, and then they're also going to help plan the future of our lead replacements.
And that's under the same funding.
Under the same funding. That's correct. That's strategies going forward as well.
Is the funding coming from a grant, Commissioner? Or is that something we have to possibly bond for?
Yeah, the funding to do the replacement is coming from a grant.
Okay, but this one?
This is
also
coming from in-house.
In-house.
We didn't want to utilize the money to do the replacements on the engineering service as well. We wanted to use all that money to get as many replacements done as possible in the most efficient time.
And the grant itself couldn't cover this?
Not if we want to do more services. So for that much money with the grant, they would rather have us utilize all that money for lead service replacement. And then this is us coming up with our plan because we're doing long term. Seeking more grants. We're going to be
So
seeking
this is
more grants.
outside the scope of the 25 million.
This is right. This is outside the scope of the 25 million.
I guess my question would be, so with the grant, there was no room for, services and admin kind of stuff. It was directly capital and labor.
Correct. They wanted us to come up with our own plan, and they gave us the money to replace the services. So we want to utilize that full fund on just replacement. So every dollar is going to go into replacing someone's service going into their home.
I guess my question is, with this that we are doing, was it a part of the grant requirement, or was it something that we?
It was part of a grant requirement.
Okay.
We had to have an engineering service help us design the plan.
That was required by the grant that you
Right.
funnel some of our
Exactly.
resource into that.
Exactly.
Okay.
So there's an RFP committee, Council Gathers, you serve at? Okay, and selected this.
Yep.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Well said. Item, let's see, 17.
Good afternoon, councilors. Ken Towsley, Street Lighting Manager. Item 17, I'm requesting to amend the existing maintenance contract from $900,000 to $1.2 million for this year. A few things have occurred. The winter we had caused a lot of outages. I've had to put on 2 crews from O'Connell, plus our city crew working on them. We've done a lot of work on the highway, And the biggest thing is that their 1249 lineman rates will be going up May 1st, sometime around there. They have a new contract that will be into effect. So I'm requesting that.
Any questions? Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. At 18 and 19, Rich.
Hello, Rich DeVesti, Fleet Director. 18, 19, 20, and 21 aren't changing any dollar amounts. It's just changing the description of what we purchased in these budgets. For 20 and 21, we just had a numerical error. We're supposed to get 3 trucks instead of 1, so we just fixed that. And in 18 and 19, we're just getting some more equipment that goes with what we bought in the previous year. So none of the dollar amounts are changing. It's just the listing, so everything is correct.
Thank you. Any questions on this?
No.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, items 22. Actually, 22, 23, 24, 25.
Hi, Ann Fordock, First Deputy Commissioner of Syracuse DPW. And yes, the next 4 items are all related to sidewalks, and we had a special session on that. And so we are bringing that $3 million for last year and $3 million for this year to council.
Any questions on these?
I have a question, Commissioner. So this is focusing on the sidewalks, not on curbing?
This is sidewalks, correct?
This is
Curbing comes into the road recon that you passed.
So if a resident has installed a sidewalk within the past year, are you going to take that down and put a new one, or is there a grace period?
It's entirely dependent on if that is up to code.
Okay.
So what condition is it in? Is it the width that a sidewalk is supposed to be? If they got a permit, then it should be.
Okay.
But sometimes people do things without getting permits. And so we evaluate that as part of the process.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Do you have the 26 and 27 as well?
26. So 26 is for the traffic management center that we have at DPW. And these are just, regular repairs to the network, which is traffic cameras and related signal equipment of keeping signals connected. But the traffic management center at DPW, they operate all the time, and it helps when there's road closures and emergencies that we notify them of those things. But this is just upgrading some of the stuff that needs to be upgraded prior to 81 as well.
Speaking of signals, I know Neil's not here. Maybe you can answer. How are we doing with the synchronization of the traffic lights and all that stuff? How's that?
I don't want to make up an answer, so I know that some are synchronized, and there's complexity there as to how you connect that with state lights.
Okay.
Coming off of highways, they're usually all synced together. But I honestly, off the top of my head, couldn't tell you how many are connected, so I would have to get back to you on that.
No problem. Thank you. You also got it for 27 as well?
27. So 26 and 27 are for the same thing, for the traffic management center.
Okay.
Yep, sorry.
28
Looks
and
like
29.
28 and 29 is the radar sign program. So this is something that actually was initiated by Common Council. And so I know, Councilor Majoke, you enjoy these signs that tell you how fast you're going.
Yeah.
And you are always within the limits, I'm sure.
I am
So
below the limit.
We'll have to check that.
So these are actually existing signs. They are in school zones. This is nothing to do with the enforcement side that you've been hearing a lot about, right? This is not ticketing. So this is an existing sign that says like speed limit. It says it says school zone, speed limit. It might have a flashing light next to it. We're replacing that sign with one that also tells you how fast you're going. And so that's what this is. And we've got a couple of them up, but we're adding more. I
It's a
believe the
good,
list.
it's a good program you'll
Yeah.
have, because we've, in some areas around the schools where I've got a lot of complaints, I think people are complying with that, and it's
I think
good.
it works on all of us when we're driving on a street and we see something flashing at us that we're going too fast. So I think
Especially on Grand Pole, right by Grant School.
How far from the school are these? Like, because I know we're supposed to have the
I think they're right at the school because there's an existing sign there that says, speed zone, school zone. So it's probably, I'm just making an assumption because I was shown a picture of one and it looked like it was right at the school, but right at the point that you're supposed to be going that speed should be the warning for you.
So right at the school, they're going to warn the people.
I mean, it's currently there telling you speed zone is, this, slow down, but we're just adding that one layer that tells you how fast you're actually going. So if the speed zone's 20 and the sign's flashing 50, that's the only thing we're adding.
I had a question. A constituent asked.
I'm sorry.
Oh, constituent asked, why are they still on when school's not in session?
Why are they still on?
They'll be flashing. I had a constituent ask me on Grant Boulevard, why are they still on? That was his question. Maybe you can answer it.
I mean, I don't know if they turn off in August, when you could have summer school and you could have, things like that. But I think most of them.
Councilor Nave?
Yes. Here we go again. 1969, Dr. King School. Yes.
Okay.
So I do think most of them have time frames, though. Most of the signs I've seen say, between 6 a.m. and 5 p.m. and stuff like that.
But mine was a two-part. It was
Yes.
more or less the new camera for like bus stuff in relation to those. Like, that's what I was trying to figure out. Where is the speed thing, and then to that.
And that I do not know off the top of my head, like where this flashing what speed you're going is going to be in comparison to the new cameras that are going to give you a ticket. I don't have that, so I can definitely look into it. I know that's a bigger discussion, the enforcement ones. So.
And what's the distance that these have to be replaced? Because sometime, by the time you arrive at the school, if you are coming with a high speed, it's sometime a little too late,
You're going to outspeed the meter?
For
Is that what
people
you're...
who drive like Councilor Hogan, who speed a lot, what's
like
the
he's
distance?
going so fast you can't even detect him?
What's the distance?
I do not know the answer to that, Counselor. If he's going 150, we might not catch him, so.
Any other questions? All right, are you doing for 30 and 31, or is that Mary?
Let's see. Manholes.
Thank you, Ann.
Good afternoon, councilors. Mary Robison, city engineer. Item 30 and 31 are both sanitary sewer offset improvements per the county local law for the 101 offset when they redevelop a property that's has more sanitary use. The first one is accepting lining of 2 sewer manholes and the replacement of their frame and grates at the 300 block of Foreman Ave, and it's for Jamal's Fayette Park LLC, the owner of the proposed apartment complex at 420 to 430 East Genesee Street. The second one, there's a typo in the short title, clerk. It should be the installation of a new 18-inch storm main and associated structures along West Fayette Street, the 1100 block by 1117 New Co. Corp., the owner of the Fayette Street condos.
Where is the typo?
Typo shouldn't say lining. It should say installation of new storm sewer.
31. Oh.
31, yes. Any questions?
Any questions on this? None? Thank you,
Thank
Mary.
you.
Appreciate it. President Pro Tem Pomasa.
Thank you very much, Counselor. I got items 32, 33. Jake, you coming up here? Because I got and maybe somebody from the administration. I think we're all, I think we're all concerned about Maria Regina. You know, I saw you on TV there talking about possible emergency demolition. I know that's been a very difficult area over the years to secure. And I'm just wondering procedurally, what's in the plans, what's the strategy as far as that goes?
Sure. Good afternoon, everybody. Jake Dishaw, Deputy Commissioner of Code Enforcement and Zoning Administration. Currently, we're still evaluating the structure. At this point, we've determined we believe it's unsafe for humans to actually go in there to do any sort of evaluation with that method, but we're trying to use drones as best we can. Difficulty with that is, you know, the damage was really up, you know, on the top of the structure, and all of that collapsed in. So the entire roof structure is gone. 4th floor is pretty much destroyed, and that's even caved in with kind of unknown amount of damage into the 3rd floor and below, but millions of gallons of water poured on it for 24 hours straight almost. You know, I don't know that we've seen a whole lot like that to ever survive. So at this point, no official determination has been made, but it's very likely that we may have to totally condemn it, and that it would be beyond repair.
See, my concern is, as you know, I know Councilor Nave, and I represented the other part of that on the other side of Court Street for a lot of years. It's that just the securing of it. I can see somebody else getting into it, the same thing happening again. And
Yep.
I know you've been especially efficient in taking some of these buildings down. You know, I pass that one, the big red building all the time, Mary Boulevard West. So I think I would urge us to really consider that, and then whatever it costs, put it on Mr. Congel's bill. You know, if we have to go after him, we have to go after him on this, but he's let this thing lag too long. Home leasing, I know, is all in to do this, and all of a sudden, I mean, this has just been too long. I think we should be as quick as possible on this.
I totally agree. Met with Mr. Congel's representatives yesterday up at the property, and conversations ongoing and trying to
Well,
see
he's
what
got
next
an
steps are.
insurance probably, I imagine, on that, so he's probably very interested in it. So, not just conjecture on my part. But I mean, I mentioned that to the mayor today. I just worry about our firefighters.
I mean, listen, I totally, and I was up there yesterday with Chief Craner and Chief Davis from the fire department. Police was still on scene watching the site. I agree, and if people get in there and somehow get stuck or injured, and you know, we all know who has to go in and rescue them. So that's definitely part of this evaluation and process, and we hope to move swiftly on it.
Keep us informed, Jake, if you could. And
Yeah.
I appreciate the efforts of everybody on this issue, you know, not only our fire department, but our codes department too, and the administration. So.
Are we having luck securing the other buildings on the property?
Yeah, we've worked with Home Leasing and Huber Brewer, who's their contractor on. They've been up there boarding up everything that they can outside of the mother house. So. But it's, as you know, Councilor Hogan said, it's been a challenge. It's a large property. We'll fix a fence or multiple fence areas, and the next day there's 4 more areas open.
Right.
I mean, listen, we're doing what we can. I mean, we've spent a lot of money and time with skilled trade and DPW codes, and that's on top of Home Leasing's efforts, and they don't even own it yet.
So how much of a bill does Conjal have with us now just for the efforts that we've taken?
I've got to confirm, because I believe some of his bills have rolled to taxes and have been paid because the taxes are being paid. Others that have not been rolled, I think, are unpaid. But I mean, somewhere around, you know, 38 to 40 grand, I think, is my estimate right now.
So Jake, on a personal, it's been very painful for me to see this. And it was my worst fear confirmed on Friday. I knew someday this might happen. And my constituents are just broken up about this. And how we let someone like Mr. Conjo, we could have gone after him 8 years ago, 10 years ago, and we didn't. We didn't go after him. We just allowed it to go on and on and on. We didn't. Constituents have asked me about eminent domain. And now we're at this point.
Commissioner?
Yeah. If you don't mind, Michael Collins, Commissioner for Neighborhood and Business Development. So this obviously has been the fire department's actions over from Friday evening through the weekend have been nothing short of astounding. The fact that we do not have damage, except for some water damage to one of the other buildings, is incredible. Right? There's no way to overstate what they did and overstate the work of the water commissioner in making sure that the fire department had all the water that they needed. One of the things that I just want to make sure that is stated publicly, I know many of you really know, is just how much work we've been doing with the developer to make sure that the developer is getting as close as possible to gaining control of the property, because that's when we know that we really have a chance of redoing this. So there's really a ton of ongoing efforts right now. A developer and some of our team met with State Historic Preservation Office on Monday. But we're continuing to do everything we can to make sure that as quickly as possible this gets out of Conjul's hands and into the developer's hands. So I just wanted to add that to the conversation.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, councilors. Jake, we'll go back to the item 32. I believe that's ready. I don't think there's any questions regarding that.
Counselor, I did get,
Council, yes,
I
City
did get
Clerk.
something in the email. I don't really understand it. Wasn't as clear. Jake,
So,
you want to
yeah, I can explain that. So we had a committee meeting. One of the things Councilor Hogan brought up was keeping a provision so we can issue a temporary in certain scenarios. So we worked with Corporation Counsel to get you that strict language by Friday, so it can hopefully, in hopes that it moves forward next week. That's what that legislation amendment letter was for, that we're amending the language to include what was asked for in that committee meeting.
Yeah, the conditional permit would be something that you could issue if everybody, everybody meets all the other criteria that it's needed. So, thank you.
Yep.
33, that's okay too. And then we go to 34, 35. I have significant concerns about both these properties and the people asking. I think one of, excuse me, City Clerk, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, did I skip by something?
Oh, I don't know. I was just asking you, did you skip 33 or no?
No, I mentioned, I said it was okay, it's a licensing agreement.
Somebody else might want questions for it anyway.
Did anybody have questions on that, on our licensing agreement here with Niagara Mohawk? Which is not Niagara Mohawk anymore, National Grid, but.
It used to be National Hudson.
Yes, that's right. Thank you very much, Councilor Nave.
What year was that?
Back in the day.
Yes. Does everybody know it's Marty's birthday today? 72 years old. 72. Yes.
Thank you.
Sometimes he regales us about going up San Juan Hill with Theodore Roosevelt, as a matter of fact. But,
which one?
You know, yeah, that's right.
Franklin Theodore.
34 and 35. I have significant problems with both these. But one of the gentlemen, I think on South Geddes Street, didn't he own the West Side Market? Did he?
I'm not 100%
No?
sure, but Ryan's shaking his head no back there.
Ryan, really?
We can look, but I'm not sure.
I think I'll hold both these items, if that's okay, because I want to do a little more research into this. And 36, I appreciate your efforts on this. I think this gentleman was caught in between what the zoning's changing, zoning changing. So
It went well at Planning Commission, so no issues on my end with that one.
okay.
Zoning change was for which one? The 36?
30, I think he was caught in between when we changed the zoning. It had already opened during that period.
Yeah, the use requires special use permit, so that's why he had to come before Planning Commission. That's why it's on the agenda.
Yeah.
That's all.
So he's got a fitness facility in Pulaski. So, okay, thank you. Councilor
Thank you.
Williams.
Thank you, Councilor Hogan. I've got items 37 through 41.
Good afternoon, councilors. Ann Gallagher, First Deputy Commissioner of Assessment.
Appreciate
Here
you
we
stepping
go.
up. Well, Commissioner OJ is out of town.
Yes, he
Um,
is.
And I believe that we're going to hold 37.
Okay.
I have concerns over the management and oversight of the project, and some of my colleagues have expressed concerns over both the timing and the methods. And so
I
we
understand.
we'll follow up.
Okay.
Absolutely. And then we're going to withdraw 38.
Withdraw or hold?
Withdraw, I believe. Correct, City Clerk?
Did you say withdraw? Which one you say? 'Cause
Well, yes. I guess we can withdraw it till we get some better
more
understanding.
answers.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't want to speak for Ann, but she probably want to talk to you offline or something about it. Yeah.
Yep. Appreciate that. Thank you, Ann. 39.
Good afternoon, Councilors. Veronica Voss, Deputy Commissioner of Finance. Number 39 is an agreement with Paylock, basically continuing their existing agreement. We had a 3-year contract with them. That was a renewal of a previous 3-year contract. They've been the booting agency for the city of Syracuse for a number of years. Just looking to continue that contract. Expires in June, and we're looking to renew it for another 3-year period.
Do we have any leverage to increase their enforcement or their activity?
Actually, we do, and they just recently added a second booting clerk starting in February. So, and then when they added the second clerk, the first one went out on some sort of flu-related illness, so we still only had one person. So we won't, until we have this month's data, really be able to see what adding that additional booter did for our revenue.
It just, as we're going into budget season, you're, more aware than many of the financial position we're in, and here's another
and one way of
revenue-generating tool.
addressing that would be to renegotiate the fees. We have the calculation, as pointed out in the notes here, is that they charge us $50 a boot and 28% of receipts. We had brought to council previously the fact that the boot actually, adding all that up, costs about $161 per boot, so that the registered vehicle owner is paying $50, and the city of Syracuse, you, me, every other taxpayer, is paying the remaining $111 out of city funds for their failure to pay parking tickets. So, one way to decrease the effective cost of booting would be to place the onus on paying the boot fees to the registered vehicle owners rather than the city.
Yep, I appreciate you coming with a significant amount of time between now and the July 1 deadline. I'm going to hold this, and we'll have internal conversation as the council, and I'm sure we'll reach out to you and to the commissioner and
We do
figure out a
have
game
some
plan.
reporting I can send you as to what the Paylock collections have been, and would you like me to send that to you?
Please, thank you.
Mhm.
Everything today. Item 40.
Good afternoon, councilors. Nicolas Diaz, Chief Innovation and Data Officer. Item 40 is a renewal for the platform that supports our website, syr.gov. This is a regular renewal.
Correct. Yep. And, as we're all aware, we're still waiting on the results of the IT audit. Given that this is a renewal, I'm fine moving forward with it, provided that everyone else is. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then 41 will be executive session.
Hey, councilors, Ann Gallagher again. I would ask that we could hold this till we figure out the exact refund, the correction of the refund. So,
Not a problem.
Thank you.
So it's not, so this one is not correct too?
yes, I believe there's an additional correction.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Hogan. I'm all set.
Thank you. Councilor Jones-Rouser.
Thank you, Pro Temp. I have items 42 through 55. Item 42 is being held. That's for us, right? Yeah. 43.
Good afternoon, Councilors. Kimon Jordan, Director of Housing and Neighborhood Planning. So items 43 through 55 are requests to have these properties transferred to the land bank once the foreclosure process is complete. We do ask that councilors hold item 43 at 127 Culver Ave. So we have made contact with the property owner. They do have a relative that's actually a real estate lawyer. Who will
I'm
be
sorry,
helping
which
with
one is that?
Item 43. 127 Colbert Street.
Okay.
As-
We withdraw on that, you said?
We're holding it.
Oh,
Okay,
okay,
we'll hold it,
So
okay.
we have had contact with the family. The owner's currently deceased. They do have a relative that's actually in real estate planning. So they would be able to help support the trust or the will process.
Okay.
But we do want to make sure that they follow up with the city and keep in contact with us before we withdraw this item.
Okay.
As for the others, we have not heard from any additional owners.
Okay, did you contact the lady? The lady. You emailed me? Oh, I didn't see it. You emailed me today? Okay, that I called? Yeah, I didn't get that. Okay. All right. Okay.
Which lady were we talking about?
No, it's,
Yeah,
it's a wife
Counselor.
of someone.
Okay, some lady, some
Yeah.
unidentified lady.
Okay. So 44, some of these are just for today. Monday, we'll know whatever goes forward. Let's see, 44 is being held.
Okay.
Well, actually, that one is probably going to be held because of the
Deck trust.
yeah. 45 is ready to go. 46
is.
is ready.
Okay,
47 is being held. 48 is being held. 49 is being held. 50 is being held. 51 is being held. 52 is ready to go. 53, 54, and 55 will be held.
You said Monday we'll know for sure if we want to
Yes.
hold these. or move forward.
Yeah. I suspect probably about 5 or 6 will move on. Will move for sure on Monday, if not more.
Okay, perfect.
And then we have a supplemental agenda item, Council Jones-Rouser and Councilor Majok for 56.
56. You want to take it? Want me to take it?
Yeah, take it, go ahead.
All right. 56 is the approval for the installation of a honorary street sign in recognition of the 65th anniversary of the Webster's Pond down in the valley, South Valley of the city. The pond has been being maintained and upgraded and all great things through the Anglers Association for the past 65 years, and we want to just give recognition to their works. We are looking possibly at a installation date of April 17th at noon, if we can get that on the books with everyone. So.
Okay, and then Councilor Majok.
So this item 57 is to formalize and authorize a committee to review Citizen Review Board legislation. We have 9 members on this committee, and their resumes are in there, so review it. If you feel we need more, let me know. But I'm very, very confident in this group that they will deliver a product that they help the community. So a lot of them you're gonna recognize.
I thought we just removed, the thought of this like 3-4 weeks ago.
Remove?
Didn't we just withdraw this from the agenda?
No, it
something
was
similar?
separate issue.
No,
Yeah, it was a,
that was actually.
yeah.
That was a local law. This
Yeah.
is just a temporary advisory committee.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got a new, basically a new Citizens Review Board.
We have the board.
And
Yep.
then we're going to have, on the parallel path, we're going to have somebody looking
The
over their
legislation.
shoulder, or the legislation.
This is strictly legislation, so they are separate issues. So the board look at the work of the Citizen Review Board. The legislation in itself is the responsibility of the council, which are two separate. And this committee would be researching, reviewing, and drafting what could potentially be in front of us to consider for update of the legislation of the Citizen Review Board.
I don't have, like, I just feel that maybe we should allow the board to sort of start, especially since it's new, to like go ahead before we put another advisory citizens board, review board together.
So
Especially when actually a previous CRB had so much trouble with quorums, you know?
Correct.
You guys talk about it offline.
Right.
And maybe have a, bring it up as a topic. or
So,
whatever.
We'll talk.
yeah, we'll talk. Okay.
Let's have discussion. Yeah. All right.
Okay, so, anything else? Okay, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.